Welcome to the Motivational Medium podcast. I'm Anne-Marie Lord, a psychic medium, author, and the founder of the Motivational Medium Academy. On this podcast, we'll explore intriguing topics such as mediumship, psychic abilities, and the amazing idea that we all have intuition within us. Whether you're a believer, skeptic, or somewhere in between, get ready to unlock your extraordinary potential as we discover the supernatural world together. If you want your questions featured on the show, be sure to join my tribe by subscribing to my newsletter at annemarielord.com. Let's go. Hello, my friend, and welcome to the podcast. Today, I wanted to talk to you about what it's like in the day of a life of a medium. Lots of people ask me this question, what do you do? Is there anything specific that I need to do if they're a medium? And I always say, I can only tell you what I do in my process. So what I do of a morning time, and it all starts before I even get out of bed. So what I do of a morning time, if I've got a full day of clients, I give me gratitude, like I talk about in the Grateful 3 Approach to Life book. I do gratitude for 3 things in my life. I try not to touch my phone. My phone sits next to me because of the alarm, but I try not to look at social media or anything like that. So I just give me gratitude. And then when I get up and get into my shower, I actually imagine all the shower water that's coming around me and going into my auric field. I imagine that is igniting the auric field and cleansing and protecting my energy. Then I go off and have my breakfast like everybody else. And then I actually go to my office. And before I start in the office, I switch everything on. And then what I do is I smudge my office. So sometimes I'll use Palo Santo and sometimes I'll use sage. So this obviously is just my routine. So I go in my office, I turn everything on. I light my little white candle and I sage all the room. And while I'm saging all the room, I ask all the energy to just be filled with love and light, and anything that's stagnant within that room is to go. Now, I'm going to do a whole podcast on about how to raise your vibration and raise your energy and protect your energy. But for this one, I just wanted to talk about, because I had such a lot of questions asking me, I'm a medium, what do you do? Is there anything that I could bring in to do in my practice as a healer or a medium? So this is why I wanted to talk about this today. So when I've done all that, what I do is I sit down and I do a type of meditation. Now, my meditation is I just sit in the quiet. So I just listen to my own breathing, really. Breathe in through my nose and out through my mouth. And I just relax into the breathing. And then I ask all the loved ones and spirit of all the people that I'm going to speak to for that day to come through. I ask them to come through with love and with guidance, and also to honour the people that are going to be visiting me today. And I will honour them. I will honour the person that is coming to see me, but I also honour spirit. And as I say, I ask everything to be done with love and with white light protection. And then I sit within that again. And some of you that have come to see me know that I work a lot with my mum. So my mum passed when she was 47 years of age, unfortunately, from lung cancer. She also had MS. But when I work with my mum, I always ask, and this is what I say to you guys as well, your spirit guide doesn't have to be a Native American Indian. It can actually be one of your loved ones. You will have a higher guide, and you will have a guide that's been with you forever. But your loved ones in spirit, I believe, will help you. They love you. You can trust them, and they will guide you on your daily journeys. So I asked the one person that I trusted more than anything in the world was my mum. So I started asking my mum to come in, and it's like a snap thing. As soon as I ask, I feel like snap, she's there. Now, this doesn't mean that she's not there before, but I actually know that she's there and working with me. And I also have a guide called Rosa. Now, if you've listened to any of the other podcasts, you'll hear me talk about Rosa. And Rosa, I believe, was a medium from many, many years ago. And I actually met Rosa in like a dream meditation. And I asked her to come in as well. So I work with my mum and my spirit guide called Rosa. So that's what I do. And then I obviously look at who I've got to come in today. So all I have is their first names and I write them all down on a piece of paper and then I start my day. And I trust. One of the biggest things that I found being a medium is not just about all the routines that I bring in. It's just like, a regular routine sets me up for something maybe that I have control of. Because as for the rest of the day, I don't believe we have much control over the rest of the day because we have to trust spirit. We have to trust ourselves. We have to trust the person that's sitting in front of us. So the day in a life of a medium can be quite, I still get a little bit nervous of a morning because, you don't know who's coming in to see you or who you're going to see on Zoom. It can be quite nerve-wracking. And, a part of you, like the human part of you, like, even though you surrender to spirit and you trust spirit and I trust myself and I trust my guides, I'm human. So there's a little part within there that you think, is this going to work today? Or, is spirit going to come through? But after I've done my routine to set me up from the morning, as soon as I sit there and I start writing the names down, then straight away I feel the energy change. So I know that spirit is around. And the more you do this for mediums that are listening to this or upcoming mediums that are listening to this is just my journey. This is just what I do. Some people will do things really differently and you'll find your own groove to get into this as well. But the subtle changes, that's what I would say to upcoming mediums and psychics out there, the subtle changes within energy, within your field or your room, or whether it's on Zoom or whether it's face to face, it doesn't matter. You will feel the subtle changes and it's paying attention to them subtle changes that will give you your guidance or give you your answers. And this is for everyone really, because I believe that everyone is psychic and I believe that we are all connected. We have like a connective consciousness. And I also believe that everyone can be open to spirit connection. So if you pay attention to the subtle changes, that is your intuition. That can also be spirit trying to connect with you, so it's about subtle changes. It's not, you very rarely get the big, powerful sounds or the words or the visions. It all starts really subtly. Don't get me wrong, sometimes you will hear stuff and you will get big changes. But the majority of the time, the changes or the visions or the seeing or the hearing is very subtle. So pay attention to the subtle changes. And then when my day goes through, whether it's, as I say all the time, whether it's on Zoom or whether people are sitting in my office, it makes absolutely no difference. When I'm sitting in my office, I'm the one who sees spirit. I'm the one who feels the energy change. I'm the one who can interpret what is going on. So if that's done, whether it's on Zoom or whether it's in my office, it doesn't matter. I will feel and see exactly the same thing. So people say to me all the time, because I read for people all over the world and they'll say, well, if I come to see you, do I have to be sitting in front of you and see you in person? No, your loved ones do. So you can be sitting a million miles away and we'll have a lovely conversation on Zoom, but it's your loved ones that come into my energy, whether you're in the room or whether you're a million miles away, it doesn't make any difference. So if you're ever going to go for a reading and you want to go and see someone that you really want to go and see, but they live in England or they live in Australia or they live in America, it won't make any difference. So you choose your medium who you want to go and see and book in with them, because if it's over Zoom, it makes no difference whatsoever, okay, to the medium The medium and the spirit world will do their job for you, whether you're there or whether you're not there. So that's just a little sidestep about how the energies work in face-to-face or Zoom readings. It doesn't make any difference. And I can't stress that enough. And that opens your possibility up. That opens the possibility for you to go and work with someone anywhere in the world. It doesn't matter. And Zoom is so easy to get onto these days as well. If I can use it, this technophobe, then anyone can use it. Okay, so that's all about that. So what do I do at the end of the day? So at the end of the day, when people have left my energy, so again, whether it's in my office or I'm doing virtual readings, I sit for a little while and I go back into my own energy. And I thank every single person in spirit that has come through to see us that day. And I thank every person in the live world. Someone said to me a few months ago, it's like earthbound. I don't know whether that's a thing, but in this world, shall I say? And I thank everyone and their energy for taking the time to come and do this. So that is my day. I smudge the room again. I smudge my energy. So that's using the sage stick or Palo Santo. I blow all my candles out, giving gratitude, absolute gratitude for the day. Because this is something, like, it still blows my mind. This is like immense. This is something, I don't even know how I ended up doing this, if you like. It sort of all happened, you know. But I give gratitude and I give thanks. And I also give thanks to myself for showing up. Because as I said to you, it is a bit frightening. You don't know who you're going to see. You know, people have waited a long time to come in and see you. So you want to show up 1,000,000%, like I always do for the people that come and see me. So that's my day. But what I also would say to you, if you're thinking of going to see a medium, there's some things that I would look for. And one of them is, do a deep dive, have a look at people's reviews, have a look at how people deliver their messages, have a look at who you feel energetically connected to. Don't just pick somebody willy-nilly. Have a look at who your friends recommend you to. You know, obviously you're going to get some maybe negative reviews or, you know, some people you're not going to fit with their energy. But I would have a look at, you know, what people feel like when they come away and they leave a medium. And why I'm talking about that is because I am very conscious about how I deliver my messages. I've heard some really scary stories about what people have been told during mediumship sessions or psychic readings. And, you know, it scares the life out of me that some people get delivered these messages. And I personally don't believe some of the things is correct, because I spent many years as a nurse and in palliative care nurse. And so to be able to communicate with somebody, just not as a nurse, but to communicate with somebody as a nurse, as a human being, as a medium, as a healer, as a psychic, is a learning process. And that communication needs to be spot on. It needs to be mindful communication, because what an intuitive or during a reading can do, it can change someone's life. It's a massively important job. You know, you're working for two energies there. You're working for the energy that's sitting in front of you, and you're also working for the energy in the spirit world. So you need to get this right, but you also need to be very mindful, because what you can say to someone could have massive detriment. Now, I'm not trying to scare anybody here who's becoming a medium or, you know, who's working on their psychic abilities. But what I would say more than anything is the delivery in messages is massively important. I got a reminder of this last week. I was doing a reading for a lady and she came. I always ask, you know, have you ever had a reading before because I want to know whether they've ever experienced anything like this before. And this lady said to me, I had a reading many, many, many years ago. And this medium said to me, now this is going to shock a lot of people. And this medium said to me, oh, you're going to die before you're 40. Well, in my experience, that is something we would never find out. I don't think I am that important to be privileged of someone's ending of their life. That is not what I see. So I do not believe, and this is me personally, I do not believe that any medium or any psychic would be privileged to know that information. And this lady sitting in front of me was definitely not in her 40s. So this obviously didn't happen. But she spent a long time worrying. You know, she said she put it to the back of her mind when she was in her 30s. But she said as she was coming up to her 40s, she said it resonated with me. She said, and I would say that it did change a lot of the decisions that I made because I didn't know how I was going to pass. I just thought that this medium must know that I'm going to pass before I'm 40. But she never told her how. So her life was changed by that medium. And that, my friends, is what I'm saying. This is the most important job, I think, ever. So if you're going to take on this role, if you're going to take on this job, or if you're going to go and see a medium, one of the things I want you to know is that they should never tell you when your life is going to end. It ain't possible. I don't believe it's possible. I believe that's a contract with you and your higher self, or you and God, or whatever you believe in. And no one will be privileged to that. And that's just my opinion. And I do these readings every day and I never get shown anything detrimental. I never get shown when people are going to pass. It's just not something I ever see. And I believe that a lot of mediums will never see that either. So as I say to you, when you're going to see your medium or when you're looking at your medium, listen to what people talk about word of mouth and go that way. But I do honestly believe that everybody is psychic. I believe that we all have our connection to the spirit world. And if you don't work on that connection, that's okay, because we will also be shown connection from the spirit world in signs. You know, we'll know that feeling. My husband said to me a few times, you know, like I've turned around and I've thought someone is behind me. And I say to them, who's the first person that come to your mind when you've done that? And sometimes, you know, you'd expect it to be maybe his mum or his dad. And then he might say something like, no, it was such and such that I used to work with, you know? So pay attention to the signs and the subtle feelings. And if you do feel someone around you, think of that first person that comes to mind, because that's who it will be. Okay? So I hope you've enjoyed this today and it's give you a little bit of insight into, if you're going to go for a reading, that it doesn't need to be face-to-face. It can be face-to-face or Zoom, because the energies work exactly the same. Also, if you're going to go for a reading, choose the medium that resonates with you. They'll all be really different and they'll all have their own specialities. I often think that I work really well with people when they're trying to show me advice on health. You know, I might pick stuff up in someone's physical body that they've been working on in health because of all the years of nursing. And then, you know, sometimes they'll show me stuff in, like I worked with a lady the other day and they showed me that she'd just been diagnosed with Hashimoto's and she was having all kinds of supplements given to her and things like that. And then all of a sudden I seen beef liver capsules. Now, I don't even take these beef liver capsules, but I could just see it in my mind. And a sister who was a young lady who'd unfortunately gone to the spirit world quite quickly was trying to advise her sister to go down the natural path and to look at beef liver capsules. Yeah. As it turned out, she said to me, oh my God, I was doing lots of research on that 2 days ago. And that just showed that the sister must have been around her when she was doing the research, and she was trying to nudge her in the right direction and say to her, yeah, that would be a good idea to go on. Okay. But everyone has free will. So when they get off the Zoom or out of your office, they go and they take what they want from the readings. They also have free will whether they choose to go down the beef liver capsule route or whether not to. So always remember, it's not set in stone. You do have free will. And now, through technology, you also have the absolute privilege, if you like, or the amazing opportunity to see whoever you want from all over the world. So I hope you've enjoyed this today. I've loved speaking to you. As I always say, if you've enjoyed this podcast, please share it with your friends, subscribe so you don't miss any of the episodes. And I will talk to you soon and maybe even see you one day on Zoom or in my office. I also wanted to let you know that if you are in Perth on November the 29th, I will be doing a live event in Clarkson in Crystal Clarity. This is at 2:30 in the afternoon. I love these events. We do lots of readings, lots of giveaways, lots of mediumship, and they're always great fun. So if you can come along, I would love to see you. Come and say hello on Saturday, November the 29th at Crystal Clarity in Clarkson. Have the best day, my friends. And all the tickets are sold on my website, which is annemarielord.com, and go to the drop-down box and live events. Come along and come and say hello. We always have a great time and they're always sell-out events. Hope you have a fantastic day. Bye. Thank you for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this show. It's important to note that while I'm here to inspire, encourage and guide you, I'm not a psychologist, psychiatrist or a doctor. Join me again in 2 weeks for more captivating revelations on the supernatural. Remember to be in with a chance to have your questions answered on the podcast. Subscribe to my newsletter at annemarielord.com. Stay in the tribe to vibe. I appreciate you guys. See you next time.